Welcome once again here on the Regional Radio Sports Network. My name is Paul Condry. I am the president and founder of Regional Radio Sports. Glad to be with you here today from McKenna Arena here at Holy Cross College at Notre Dame, Indiana. Glad you've hopped along here for Holy Cross College Men's Media Day. Glad to be joined here by a couple guys from the OH. Especially thankful to have them here today. Justin O'Neill to my far right, Nash Hostetler over here to my short right, if you will. Boys, I tell you what, it's that time of the year. Guys, ready for some buckets?
We're very excited.
Yes, sir.
A lot of potential this year for our team, so we're looking forward to it.
Okay, so one of the things I've always said, and my favorite thing about being a part of Holy Cross College basketball is Mike McBride is, I've said this, and I've been doing basketball now for 35 years, college basketball, and one thing is Mike McBride is not for everyone. He is a tough cookie, but his demeanor is sometimes intimidating, but the bottom line is he wants the best for you. Nash, let me start with you. You know, when you're getting your butt chewed, you're kind of going through that stuff. It's like, is this guy ever going to get off my back? But I think the reality of it is, and there'll be guys that'll tell you when they're come and gone, he has been your best teacher for the future. You ever think about it that way?
Yes, I 100% agree. Like you said, he is a coach that what he says goes, and it's hard to get used to for guys who come from different schools. They're used to something so different, so it's always different transitioning into a different type of coaching aspect. But everything he says to you, this is the most important thing for guys to know. It's everything he says is to make you better, whether that's at basketball or just as a man in general. He is all about making you more mature, understanding that you have a role, knowing that you need to trust him, both as a coach and as just an individual, as someone you can talk to as a person. So his hard-nosed aspect of coaching is really what helps try and get the message through to us. And it's important that we understand that anything that he says is for us to get better. So I would agree with you 100%.
Justin, your thoughts?
Yeah, I would agree. He's definitely a tough coach, but I love it. I enjoy it a lot because, you know, if he wasn't coaching me hard, then, you know, I would be a little bit more worried because that means he doesn't see my potential. So the fact that he coaches us hard and he coaches each and every one of us to our best and to a certain standard, that lets us know that he sees great potential in all of us.
I think that's a great point. Very, very well put. Now, obviously, for you guys making the drive from the OH, I mean, there was a lot of colleges between where you grew up. Justin from Dayton, Nash from Dublin, Ohio. So you guys, there was a lot of things, a lot of stops in between. Why Holy Cross College at Notre Dame? Nash, let's start with you.
Why Holy Cross? A lot of it was because of McBride, Coach McBride. He, when I first got to talk to him in person, like Justin already said, he saw the potential in me and what I could do, and he saw the type of role I could play in this program. And I saw that they already had success in the past with Robbie Jimenez, Storm Cook, all those guys, and we saw a lot of great players to roll our game after. And I saw that there was a lot of potential in playing at this school because of how he coached the team, how he coaches the program, and how he goes about business. He's very strict and very point to the business. So I was really drawn into the way he went about basketball.
How about you, O?
Yeah, so Storm actually went to my high school, so I kind of already knew about Holy Cross and knew about the connection and knew about all the success he had. And obviously me and Storm are two different types of players, but yeah. I got to come down on a visit, and on my visit I really enjoyed the structure of how we play, and I could just immediately tell that Coach McBride genuinely understands the game of basketball and genuinely is a just great mind when it comes to X's and O's and just anything inside those lines he's really good at. So
did any of the guys that were recruiting you, did they talk to you about, hey, listen, you're going to get a chance to come up here and launch X amount of shots, or going to be able to do this? Did any of those coaches come in here and say, you're going to have to play defense for the entire shot clock, and we're going to do that every time you come up and down the floor? And I put that in the point. Justin, 24.5 minutes last year for you. Nash, you averaged about 29 points a game. So realistically, for 29 minutes, you have to play like it's the last possession you're ever going to play, because that's really what he wants. Did anybody that was recruiting you tell you that?
Yes, of course. Yeah, Coach Bradick, Tyler Bradick, he's been an assistant for McBride for years. It's always a point of emphasis for them that this program is founded on defense, and it always will be, and it will never change. And that's the most important thing that all guys know coming into school. They're not going to come in here and take 20 shots a game and think this is my team. I'm the star of this program. Nobody's ever going to be the star of this program. It's always about a team. One of our core values is about unity, and we do everything together. We get stops together, we play together, and we win together. So that's a very important thing.
Justin, same thing. What are you thinking?
Yeah, absolutely. Just from the very first day I got here, he talked about our core values and the things that we the principles that we live by on defense, which is stop the ball, get the ball. So the fact that was the first thing I ever learned when I got here, that just speaks volumes to how he runs this program.
Mike shared with me earlier today when we were doing the coaching segment that Holy Cross College at Notre Dame in Mike McBride's tenure, when they hold teams into the 60s, they have won 81% of their basketball games. So think about that when you look at the big picture. And the reason I bring it up is because last year you guys went 14-15 and 9-11 in league play. Defensively, you guys gave up 72 points a game. So Mike will tell you that's totally unacceptable. So my question is for you, Justin, let me start with you on this round of questions. What have the Saints done in the offseason and in camp so far to guarantee that 72 points per game is going to be in the 60s and in potentially in the low 60s like Coach McBride wants?
Absolutely. It starts with the intensity level and how serious we are on defense, on the defensive end, how personal we take it, and our attention to detail. He always tells us, how much harder is it to do it right? Sometimes you want to close out on defense and you don't want to get your hands up, or you want to, you break down kind of slow. It's not that much harder to just do it right. So as long as we buy into that and continue to understand the details of it and truly pay attention to the details, we'll be a great team this year.
All right, Nash, I'm going to get the roster here in front of me. Obviously, Tommy Snyder had a great freshman campaign. No one will argue that question. But if you're going to be playing in Mike's system, he's forgot all about that because what have you done for me lately? It's kind of the mindset. So let's talk about a pretty talented group that's coming in, as well as some of those newcomers that are on. And I'm going to give you an open-ended question. Who on this Holy Cross roster in front of you has to have monster years for this team to erase the bad memory of 14-15?
Right. That's a very good question. There's plenty of guys in this roster that can fill that role, and there's potential in every single guy on this roster. And it really is going to come down to who is going to be intense, like Justin said, on defense. And there are guys, Phil Robles is going to be a very key factor for us. He always will be. He's our steady point guard. He knows the offense. He knows what McBride wants. He knows what he's being asked of from McBride in terms of defense. Another guy I like to talk about is A.J. Roseman. He didn't get a lot of playing time last year, but he has been a very steady guy defensively for us, and he has been a spark plug for us. And I am very excited to see A.J. play this year because I know he will get to play, and he will get to show us his energy on the court as well. And that's something that I think could help us a lot. We always need someone to spark, and A.J. Roseman could be one of those guys for us. And there are a bunch of other guys on here. Drew Mata, Isaiah Cabrera, Gregory Wells, Justin Milch. They are all very possible key players for us because of their ability to bring intensity to the defensive aspect of the game. So there's a lot of guys out there.
Justin, as you look over the roster, I know that there are guys that you have to compete against during the course of practice. There's guys that, in practice can get heated. Everybody enjoys that aspect of, if you're involved in competitive athletics, practice is fun because there's no officials. You get a chance to beat each other up and have a good time because that's what competitive athletics is all about. So who do you on this group, and a little bit of a different type of question, who on this roster, Justin, is so competitive that it inspires you? It could be the guy you're sitting next to.
I would have to say Nash. Honestly, I had to go with him just because, every rep in practice he's going 110%. It's no, when you're guarding him in practice, it's no time where you can kind of just relax. You have to always be on your P's and Q's. He's always looking to set a screen or looking to get an easy layup or an open three because he's such a good shooter. So I'd have to go Nash, honestly. And of course, Tommy, he's so good. I like when he's on my team. It's just, you can just, it's an easy 2 points when you give it to him. So, yeah, I say those two guys.
All right, let's talk about the landscape of the Chicagoland Collegiate Athletic Conference. You guys have been around the block a couple times now, so you understand, some places as well as some athletes that you've got to be able to play. Right here locally in St. Joseph County, Indiana. Indiana University South Bend has had a great stretch under Coach Scott Cooper. Let's talk about the league as a whole. Nash, let me start with you. Your thoughts on the CCAC?
Very competitive. Always will be. A lot of teams are very athletic, and that's one thing we always have to realize about ourselves. IU South Bend is a very athletic team, very physical. They have Barney. He's going to be an X factor for them. He's what is he, 6'8"?
Yeah, something like it.
And he's a force to be reckoned with, and we have to be able to counter that with not necessarily our athleticism, because that's not always our strong suit. Our strong suit is playing together on defense and having unity in terms of executing against guys like that with that kind of athleticism. And then there's always guys like Tyler Schmidt on Olivet Nazarene. And I believe this is his last year. He's hungry. He's looking for a good season, as always. He knows what he's doing. He's been experienced. He's a very fundamentally sound guard, and he knows how to play against us. He's played against us multiple times. He's had the history with Holy Cross, and those are two teams that I think are going to be very hungry against us, and we have to keep a huge eye on.
I think both you guys know that our company, Regional Radio Sports, is also the voice of Bethel University, and we're also the voice of Indiana University South Bend. So we get a chance to see these three really good NAIA programs. And then later on here in this month, we're going to get a chance to see IU South Bend, Holy Cross, Goshen, and Bethel play each other. I think it's one of the greatest nights of NAIA basketball in the country when those four schools get out on that floor to play. So can you indulge me a little bit and tell me what excites you about being in that CCAC Crossroads League Classic? Nash, we'll start with you.
Yeah, it's very exciting, always because Bethel, IU South Bend, Goshen, they're always good teams, and they're always at the very beginning of the year for us, so they're always exciting games to see how we're playing and how we're starting. They always have big crowds, too. They always have students show out for the games. It's just a great environment to play in front of, whether that's at Bethel or that's at Goshen or IU South Bend. They always have guys show out from their school, and they're always great competition. And it's just a great place marker to see how we've grown over the offseason. So it's always a great way to start the season, and makes me very excited to play them once again.
Justin, how about you? What's your take on those three other teams in that exciting Crosstown Classic?
Yeah, it'll be fun. I love to compete. I love the game. So it's always fun playing a team like Bethel or IUSB or Goshen. Those are all, especially IUSB, those are games that we circle on the calendar. But, it all comes down to, what we are on the defensive end. That'll be the biggest defining factor for us in our success this season.
A lot of college basketball teams across the country, regardless of what division you're at, they kind of get a chance to ease into their conference season. Not you guys, not the Chicagoland Collegiate Athletic Conference. You guys, 5 games in, and you guys have got to win games. And I mean, you have to win games because a loss in November can either seal your fate for the entire season. I mean, a loss early could depend upon what your seeding is going to be in the tournament in the postseason. So let's talk about, just let me start with you on this, and about playing with a sense of urgency right from the get-go once CCAC play gets underway. How do you do it?
Like I said, it's on the defensive end, and it's really buying into the details on the offensive end too, but especially on defense. I'm not really worried about our offensive output. I know we got guys that can score, like we got Tommy, we got Phil, we got guys who can really put the ball in the rim. But defensively, it's about buying into the details and all 5 of us doing what we need to do to get a stop each and every possession. So,
Nash, your thoughts on playing with a sense of urgency right from the start?
Yeah. Any game that we have, it always comes down to what we're doing the weeks before. And so I think some of the most crucial time we have right now are these next coming weeks up until those CCAC games actually happen. And it's about us buying into the idea. One thing we always like to talk about is 3 stops in a row. And that's the most important thing guys are going to need to be thinking about as soon as every single game starts. And as long as guys start to get oriented around the idea that the first thing we care about is getting this stop, we will be able to start out hot and ready and with a sense of urgency, like you said.
I mentioned earlier Nash averaged about 29 points or 29 minutes a game, averaged just under 10 points a game, and about 4 rebounds per contest, and about 1.5 helpers in every game. I want you to just talk about those numbers. Did you envision yourself with the role that you have on this team being right about where that is at, or could absolutely care less what any of those numbers mean?
Right. Yeah, I could. It's a little bit of both. I don't really care what I'm producing in terms of the numbers, but as long as it's efficient within our offense, that's all I care about. I could take one shot a game, but if it's the most open shot, that's all I'm willing to take. I'm not willing to force anything. Coach McBride never wants you to force anything within the realm of the offense. He always hunts layups, wants us to hunt the most efficient shot possible, and if that's what my stat line is going to be from that, then that is completely fine with us.
Oh, for you, about 6 points a game, 2 rebounds, and as I alluded to before, right around 25 minutes a game. Your role is so unique because a lot of times you get the assignment of playing sometimes the best offensive player on the other team. So your role, and I would say both of you guys kind of find yourselves in that role as well. So when you look at your numbers, I don't know if that's a factor to you. I don't think anybody who wants to come to play for Mike McBride is going to look at the stat sheet like us sportscasters are at the end of the day. Do you?
No, yeah. I don't really look at the stats, especially for last year. I don't care about last year. I care about what I can do today to become better and help our team win. So, my role and all of our roles really is not to, go get 15 or 18 points a game. Those shots will come. Your buckets will come as long as you're playing as a team and hunting the right shot. So,
all right. Final question. We'll wrap it up here. Open-ended question, so this is going to be a real easy one because we want to hear what you have to say about this basketball team. The Holy Cross College Saints are going to improve on that aforementioned 14-15 record, and they're going to have a terrific year if they do this. What is it, Nash?
Play defense. That's as simple as I'm going to say.
That's as good as it gets right there, man.
That's all it takes for us. That's what it's always going to be with the Holy Cross Saints. It's never going to be about how well we do offensively. It's never going to be about how well one player plays each game. It's, are we together? Are we unified? And do we get stops? And do we hold teams to under in the 60-point range? And as we've seen over time, we win games when we hold teams to low pointages. And it's always going to be about defense.
Justin, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I second that completely. It's all about defense. Offensively, the shots will come. We'll always be able to get nice looks at the rim, and we got guys who can put the ball in the rim. So it's about the defensive end for us.
Once again, Justin O'Neill here to my far right, the pride of Dayton, Ohio, went to Dunbar High School. Nash over here, Dublin Kaufman High School, Dublin, Ohio. A couple guys from the OH making a big impact here in the Hoosier State. Once again, thanks for joining us here today from Holy Cross College at Notre Dame, Indiana for Men's Basketball Media Day. With a special thanks to Coach Mike McBride and Assistant Coach Tyler Brady for their great help here today, as well as a special thanks to Mia McComish, as well as Tanner Camp for all of their work here today. For all of us at Regional Radio Sports, don't forget, Saints basketball all season long right here on Regional Radio Sports. Have a great night. God bless you all.